6 EU leaders acting as negotiators for the main centrist parties have sealed a preliminary deal to allocate top jobs.
A new report shows an increase in anti-Semitic incidents in Germany since the October 7 attack on Israel.
6 EU leaders acting as negotiators for the main centrist parties have sealed a preliminary deal to allocate top jobs following European elections. The deal follows the previously reported trio of candidates: Ursula von der Leyen for President of the European Commission, Antonio Costa for President of the European Council, and Costa and Kallas for High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. The package had already been put together last week during an informal gathering of EU leaders, but was finalised in a call between various heads of state. Despite the reported deal, the decision will not become official until the 27 leaders ratify it later this week. If eventually appointed, von der Leyen and Kallas will still have to undergo a hearing at the European Parliament, while Costa, a former Prime Minister of Portugal, will be automatically elected by his former peers.
After the European elections earlier this month, the centre-left Renew Europe party fell from third to fourth largest political force in the European Parliament. Since then, negotiations have been carried out to keep the group operational, making agreements with other national parties with similar ideologies. Renew Europe now have just 74 members in Parliament. That's a drop of almost 30 seats compared to the previous period. It was overtaken by the European Conservatives and Reformists, a hard-right group which now boasts 84 members. The group's chair, French MEP Valérie Pécresse, managed to win re-election. Despite the party's poor results in France, she says the mergers are crucial for its continued success.
We are an attractive group and we will continue to grow. And second, our political position makes that we are indispensable. So there is no majority without us. EPP needs us to form a majority. SD needs us to form a majority. And we will continue to be at the core of this central and pro-European majority.
The elections were won overall by the centre-right European People's Party, who got 189 seats. The centre-left Socialists and Democrats Party came in second with 136. The Spanish MEP Iratxe Garcia was also re-elected chair of the centre-left on Tuesday. A member of the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, the coalition is key to re-elect Ursula von der Leyen for a second term as President of the European Commission. That nomination is being decided by the leaders of the 27 countries in a summit to be held this Thursday. After that, von der Leyen will have to be confirmed by the European Parliament.
We will wait until Thursday to see if the Council ratify the agreement. In this case, we will start to work here. And of course, for us, it's important to insist that we want a deal, and at the same time, we want to negotiate policies. This cannot be a blank check. Gracias.
The formal constitution of the European Parliament will take place during the first plenary session in Strasbourg starting on 16th of July.
2.5 years into the full-scale invasion of its country, Ukraine has opened accession negotiations to become a full member of the European Union. The talks are starting 10 years since pro-Russian President Viktor Yanukovych refused to sign an association agreement with the EU, prompting widespread protests and deaths in the capital Kyiv. It's also 10 years since Putin annexed Crimea and started his aggression in the eastern part of the country. But Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister says Ukraine will implement the necessary reforms to become a member as fast as possible.
Ukraine will be a member of the European Union and we will be able to complete everything before 2020 and 30.
The EU accession process is long and there are many potential blockages ahead despite the best efforts of the teams from Ukraine and Moldova, which is also starting negotiations. EU member states have complete control of the process and each one must sign off on any progress made, and it's possible Hungary could try to block Kyiv's advancement as it frequently refuses to support any measures to boost Ukraine. Moreover, even Ukraine's strongest allies have demanded restrictions on Ukrainian imports into the single market.
If you look at the Ukrainian grain dispute, Here we saw the most important allies of Ukraine within the EU, including Poland and Czechia, actually objecting to something that could have helped Ukraine and was helping Ukraine enormously. Now, to me, that is entirely against the spirit of the enlargement process. And I think it begs the question about whether the member states are really serious and whether or not there's this big gap between the rhetorical enlargement and the substantive one.
Nevertheless, today accession talks are being hailed as a moment of victory for Kyiv amid the ongoing struggle to resist further Russian military occupation. Shona Murray, Euronews, Brussels.
The International Criminal Court issued warrants for top Russian officials over attacks on Ukrainian civilian targets. The court accused former Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Chief of Staff General Valery Gerasimov of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Judges believe there are reasonable grounds for the belief that the two men are responsible for missile strikes carried out by the Russian armed forces against the Ukrainian electric infrastructure. Despite the news that warrants have been issued, the likelihood of either suspect being immediately detained is improbable. Russia is not a member of the ICC, does not recognize its jurisdiction, and has refused to hand over suspects in the past. Russian President Vladimir Putin was accused by the ICC last year of abducting children from Ukraine, along with Russian official Maria Lvova-Belova.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise in Germany, according to the Federal Association of Research and Information Centres on Anti-Semitism. The group has tracked an increase of more than 80% in incidents last year, with well over half happening after the October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. Just under 5,000 anti-Semitic incidents were recorded in 2023, up from just under 3,000 in 2022. The incidents range from anti-Jewish comments to physical assaults and include a mid-October attack on a synagogue in Berlin. Dr. Felix Klein, Federal Government Commissioner for Jewish Life in Germany and the fight against anti-Semitism, has called for more stringent measures to combat Jewish hate.
Damit den Strafverfolgungsbehörden effektive Mittel zur umfassenden Bekämpfung judenfeindlicher Hetze und Gewalt zur Verfügung stehen, fordere ich Ergänzungen im Strafgesetzbuch. So muss der Aufruf zur Vernichtung anderer Staaten unter Strafe gestellt werden.
Despite these incidents, a senior Jewish German official said the rise has not yet resulted in an emigration of Jews from Germany.
The Polish army has launched a new recruitment drive to try to protect their homeland against potential Russian aggression. New starters are being put through rigorous military training as the army seeks to grow its 198,000 members. According to a spokesperson from the Polish Defense Ministry, Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 sparked an impulse among Poles to want to defend their country.
Nie zawsze chciałem zostać żołnierzem, jednakże obecne wydarzenia na świecie, wszelkie konflikty, ale przede wszystkim sytuacje dookoła naszej ojczyzny w pobliżu zmotywowały mnie do zmiany moich decyzji.
Holidays with the Army is a 28-day program that offers basic training to those over the age of 18.
Workers in Bucharest are cutting their hours short as temperatures are registering 40 degrees in the shade. Inside restaurant kitchens, the temperatures were significantly higher. Grillers and roasters are heating the atmosphere to more than 50 degrees Celsius.
Probabil 50. N-am măsurat niciodată. Zic că e ok. Suntem mai mulți, facem curentul, depășim perioada de căldură.
Employers have had to take special measures for their workers, such as reducing the working hours or forcing employees to take longer breaks. Over the last 24 hours, 1,316 people have called the ambulance for medical support due to heat-related stress.
Din fericire, numărul de ambulanțe care nu au aer condiționat este mic și acelea nu prea sunt folosite în aceste zile decât în situații extraordinare.
Austria reached an astonishing first place in Group C after beating the Netherlands 3-2. The Dutch managed to equalize twice, but finally failed to level Austria's 80th minute winner by Marcel Sabitzer. France were held to a disappointing 1-1 draw by a proud Poland and finished the group second behind Austria. Mbappe's penalty kick wasn't enough to secure the 3 points, as Les Bleus still haven't managed to score an open play goal in the whole tournament. France go to the next round as the runner-up, while the Netherlands are qualified as one of the best third-placed teams. Group C games were far less eventful, with 2 goalless draws. A 0-0 against Slovenia was enough for already qualified England to keep the top spot. The result, however, was way more important to Slovenia, as they achieved their first historic qualification. Denmark tied 0-0 as well against Serbia to retain the second place and advanced to the knockouts too.